Hi everyone, it's Victor speaking. And as I promised in one of my previous videos, I intend to make one about Astrea. Now, I'm not too sure how to pronounce her name, but this is how I pronounce it. If you have got any better pronunciation, please drop it in the comment box below. It's actually about time to make one about her because she will be changing sign in a week time on the 3rd of October. It's going to be moving into the sign of Capricorn. And I do believe that examining Astraea in your natal chart can be actually quite interesting because it talks about how to break some karmic ties in this incarnation and kind of how to create new karma for yourself. And I know nowadays the karmic readings are picking up, and yeah, it's getting more and more important for people to kind of find purpose in their life. So you should be looking at Astraea. So if you don't know how to check out yours, then I recommend going on astro.com. So I will show you. Just go on horoscopes, extended chart selection, choose your chart, fill out the data, scroll down, and then when you see the manual entry on the right-hand side, just type in number 5. She was the 5th asteroid to be discovered, and then click here to show chart. And then you will see Astraea right there. So mine is in the 7th house in the sign of Virgo on 13-degree retrograde. So this is how you will find Astraea in your birth chart. Now, let's just dive into what Astraea is a little bit. So as I mentioned, she is the 5th largest asteroid. She was the goddess of purity, goodness, morality, and justice. So no wonder why actually she is usually represented by a scale on her side, because the scale represents the pros and the cons and the justice element. However, she was actually the Virgo constellation, but I will be speaking about that in a short while. So the asteroid Astraea, whose name means star maiden, was the daughter of Eos, and who was the goddess of the dawn, and Astreus, the god of dusk. Some writers actually believe that she was the daughter of Zeus and Themis. Now, she was the last immortals to live among humans during the Golden Age. Now, one of the reasons why she decided to leave Earth, because the humans became very wicked during the Iron Age, and Astraea decided to fly the Earth to the heavens and transform into the constellation of Virgo. So basically, she couldn't cope with the wickedness that she believed she saw in the Iron Age of Greece, and she left the Earth. And that's how she became the star maiden in heaven. According to legend, actually, Astraea will return one day to Earth and usher in a new golden age. Now, she kind of represents cultural renewal from a mundane perspective. So it's very possible that there is going to be some cultural renewal going on once she changes sign. And that's going to be happening, as I said, in a week time. She was kind of an idealist, all about utopia, a purist, and at the same time a perfectionist as well, who saw the world in terms of black and white, and she perceived things were bad, she bailed out and basically jumped ships. So she had this idealistic version of how the world should operate. And yes, so there is an element of a Neptunian fairy tale story with Astraea. She wasn't so grounded, of course, because she had her head in the clouds. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a story about her. But she really loved any type of Venusian stories, like these fairy tale stories. So all about the heroic man, and the cities are running as beautiful as it should be, and all those type of things. She was very ethical. She believed in law and order, and she wanted everyone to kind of follow those. Now, by the way, she was discovered in 1845 on the 8th of December by Carl Ludwig. So she's been around for quite a long time, actually. So she represents our moral values. She is about reasoning, good judgment or poor judgment. It depends on your natal aspects. So she is going to be showing in your natal chart how we weigh up our options and choose the best course of action for us, which is actually fitting your moral codes and your belief system as well. So she is very concerned about fairness and justice. But of course, the shadow side, like every single planet, asteroid, they all have got shadow sides. It has got hardship to let go of something. So a prominent Astraea in the chart, so being around the angles or being around your chart ruler or the sun and the moon or any of your personal planets really, so Venus, Mars, Mercury also involved here, it could show that you have got difficulty of letting go of something. Maybe you want to be avoiding challenges in regards to that topic, or you don't want to be taking responsibility. So yes, it's all about letting go of some karmic wounds, which you might not be able to do. So if Astraea is around your midheaven, you might be unable to let go of unhealthy careers. Or maybe if it's around your ascendant or descendant, you might not be able to let go of dysfunctional relationships. Or if it's around your IC, you might not be able to actually forgive your family members, or you are not able to get out of a toxic family situation, or and so forth. It might be in the 9th house, and then you are not able to let go of like a toxic place where you live and all those type of things. So Astraea definitely represents some type of obstacles which is actually preventing us seeing the higher cause of our karmic duties. So if we once look at those obstacles, then it actually allows us to start fresh. So she is the planet of procrastination. And sometimes it does show lack of common sense as well, especially if it's very negatively aspected. So I would be focusing typically on conjunctions and oppositions and squares, but you can also look at your trines and sextiles as well. At least those planets are giving us opportunities how to break karma. So if you see, for instance, a trine aspect, trine actually indicates easy interaction between two planetary energies. So it kind of shows us a talent, it shows opportunity of growth and creativity. So kind of like, I'll give you an example, you know, when you are driving a car downhill, you don't need the engine, you can switch it off and it just goes itself, right? So it is kind of an easiness to it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't be navigating the car. And if it's, for instance, an opposition, then we tend to be talking about something which is lacking. So we do need to harmonize the two planets because they are kind of like have got opposite needs and opposite views on certain things. And this could be true with conjunction as well, by the way, because the conjunction is all about merging two planetary energies. So you want to be making sure that they aligned. So a conjunction is the most powerful one of all the aspects, and it does show that what type of traits or house topics you need to be aware of if you want to break your karma. And of course, the square is somehow going to be representing to you challenges, but something which is actually kick your butt to move forward and take action about certain type of things. So with Astraea, you want to look at it that it tells you why you are here, and how to maintain your physical self, how to bring balance between the cosmic self of yourself and the physical body. And kind of like it again does make sense, right? Because if you think about the sun as is always craving for achievement and recognition on the physical plane, the moon is more about emotional fulfillment. So kind of imagine Astraea as being a little bit of a sun and the moon together. So, and then how I am going to be balancing that out and realizing that we were not just born to, I don't know, go to work and raise family and, you know, cook at home and tidy up the flat or the house. We actually have got a little bit of a higher purpose as well. So Astraea wants you to step outside of your physical body a little bit and then connect with your spiritual goals as well. She wanted just peace. So how can you achieve peace in your life? But on the negative side, it does show the area of life where you can spend way too much money and energy to kind of sort that area of life out. Or you get stuck in a certain area of life because that is very important for your physical body. So wherever she is, you can become kind of like a martyr in that area. Yes, so she's kind of a little bit of a reminder that you can only do so much, and sometimes we need to let go. We don't need to kind of you know, stick to something, knowing when to go away, when to let go of. So Astraea can be basically your exit plan. And that's why it kind of talks about the breaking karma element, because if you let go of certain things in that house topic and in that sign where she is, plus of course you want to be looking at the whole complex, so the aspects also, then it might be an indication that you can start fresh. So even her symbol is, she's got a symbol and then it looks like a little bit of a seesaw type of energy. We've got two little circles and then we've got a little scale here. So the scale actually represents the Libra qualities, and then those two circles kind of represents that, you know, what is going on above us, actually, that's what we actually pull down to the ground. So as above, so below, as the astrology kind of says. So maintaining balance through chaos, maintaining balance between your physical and your psychic well-being is one of the key success factors with Astraea. So she carries these Virgo and Libra qualities. By the way, she is the Justice card in Tarot, if someone is into that. Now, she is going to be tapping into the Capricorn energy the next week. So it could talk about that your ambitious nature makes it difficult for you to have a balanced lifestyle. Maybe there is a very strong urge to be successful, and kind of like it leads to an emptiness, and then you might sacrifice your relationship to achieve your goals, or just there is a realization that your job is not as fulfilling anymore, and then I want to be stepping out of that. So somehow it does bring in on a mundane level the governmental changes. It does bring in workload changes. So one of the things which I really believe it might be happening very shortly, and I think I mentioned this in the new moon video in Libra as well, that countries will introduce COVID pass at workplaces as well, unfortunately. So I see a little bit of a negative energy around it. But let's hope I'm not necessarily right. So Astraea shows where we need to tie up some type of loose ends, where we might struggle to let go of things. She can show a little bit of an obsessive behavior towards the house topic. So you might want to be actually aware of that. For instance, I've got Astrea in the 7th house. So it might be an indication that I am struggling to let go of partnership once we had it, because we might be a little bit romantic, you know, or it could be business partnership as well, or it could be fame overall, because the 7th house can represent fame as well. Or maybe you're actually unable to forget your past and then move on from a certain type of relationship. And so kind of like the first heartbreak, and then somehow it got burnt into your blood vessels somehow. Or maybe you are thriving for some type of fairness in the relationship, but at the same time, you also want that independence too. So, or you might be worrying way too much about other people's needs, and therefore you don't have time for yourself or to become who you truly want to become. So Astraea can be showing you what is holding you back in life, but it also shows how to act on those, and then how to walk away from it. So look at your Astraea, look at your obsessive nature around it, and ask yourself the question, are you kind of staying until the bitter end? Because if you do so and then you realize it, then you know that you're going to have to let go of something. So this is Astraea. By the way, in the background, you can see her, and then you can see there is a scale there. By the way, the reason why she's also represented by the scale, because she was the companion of Dike, the goddess of justice, and that's why she received that scale next to her. And then you can see a kind of like a bird there, which is representing the freedom. And the white bird is actually representing purity. So thank you, everyone. And if you like the video, don't forget to press like, and see you very shortly with another one. Bye-bye.